Hi everyone, Twiggy is here and me, Elena. Today we're going to talk about tension in surfing. Well, obviously tension causes failing when catching waves, failing when trying to place maneuvers while riding wave, tension just being there sometimes for us is a cause of tension, right? When swell is a little bigger than we're comfortable with, when waves are a little more powerful. So yeah, tension.
Even too many people.
Even too many people, yeah, exactly. So kind of whole process of surfing can be one big tension.
Exactly. And that's why it's a subject we need to discuss.
Right.
And there's a bunch of things that cause tension, but there's a few things I want to focus on specifically. So what I will say is tension is the enemy of surfing, especially when it's mental tension translated into the physical. So it can come in a few different forms, but I want to sort of narrow it down to the ones that I see the most in developing surfers. So in surfing and in humanity, right, we're very visual creatures. So what we see dictates a lot towards how we react. Now, in surfing, it could be something as simple as when you paddle into a wave, you're looking down and you're seeing like this steepness, and that can create tension in itself, and will most of the time, until you reach a level of surfing where you know you need to look down on this particular wave and you're going to be super cool about it. But in your developing stages, that's like a path to probable failure, we'll call it. Now, other things related to that are maybe you're a person who you're turning your back on the wave too early and you're deciding yes, but the wave hasn't arrived yet. It's still a few seconds away or more. And if you turn your back on the wave and you're pointing right at the beach, you no longer have visual contact with the wave. So all of a sudden you don't know, and not knowing can create tension. All of these things are going to kind of hijack your brain in a negative way. So,
Do you think a certain amount of tension would be appropriate?
no, unless you're very conscious of the situation. There has to be tension without fear. So, okay, this is a critical situation, but I've assessed it and I reckon I'm still going to try, right? But you still got to try without bringing too much tension into that equation.
Well, I guess this is where expectation or anticipation takes place. Like, okay, I feel like I'm tense a little bit in this particular situation, maybe a little bigger surf or a little bit more challenging waves, but I'm gonna try and I'm okay about the result, right? I'm okay about my outcome.
Perfect. So the way you just described that is excellent because you said, I'm okay with. And that simple thought process allows us to be more neutral than weighted in either direction of positive or negative. And from a neutral standpoint, it's acceptance, right? So we're able to go, all right, maybe I'll succeed, maybe I won't, but this is where we explore and find out. So that's a beautiful way to describe it. Because if you're like, I'm going, but still got that resonant, oh no, or oh shit voice in your head, probably you're going to get a negative outcome. Or even if it's as simple as, I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to try. Just you see the way my voice was in that conversation with myself is going to create tension. So a really beautiful thing, as I said, we're very visual creatures, right? So we coach this a lot, and you'll hear us say it over and over when people are paddling for a wave. Look where you want to go, and you don't want to look down. So maybe a little bit of angle as you paddle into that wave and looking at the path you want to travel. Because when we see something we like, we gravitate towards it in a very calm and relaxed manner. We see something we don't want, we actually pull back, we withdraw from it, and there's tension, right? So there's really important to be able to distinguish between these two things, and maybe give yourself more time before you start making decisions. Like, I see a lot of people, clearly they're not going to go for the next wave, but I'm like, well, that guy looks like he's in the perfect spot, but he's already said no. So this comes down to our spatial awareness conversation that you and I talk about a lot. So they have to start believing that maybe that's an opportunity they need to explore. Yeah, it's super interesting. But once you, like, we could look at a person on a wave, and if they're very tense, reverse engineer what happened, if it's on video or if we saw the whole wave, you guarantee you go back to the beginning and they were looking down, or they were paddling frantically, or doing something not in a calm manner. If you think about things that we do well in a very calm manner, one example is
Walking, or basically things which we're competent in.
yes, very confident. And we've been walking since very early in our lives, and we do it in a very relaxed way, and our body moves well because, hey, we've done thousands and thousands of hours of walking. So our body also works well in the way we walk. We imagine tensing up your body and trying to walk at the same time. You'd look, I don't know what you'd look like, kind of like a robot, but not a current day robot. So you get where we're going with this conversation. It's like just being able to repeat a process many times till you are relaxed doing it. And the more you can expose yourself to conditions within your range of ability and relax, the better results you're going to get along the way, and start moving up into more wave energy and things like that.
What do you think can help to avoid tension, or to get rid of tension, or at least to help us to be more relaxed in a lineup?
Great. I love this part of it, because what do we do well when we're walking? We breathe well. What are we taught when we do yoga or other Eastern philosophies? They're always talking about the breath. The reason in yoga, like for me, it took me a while to work this. I know there's banging on about the breath, right? But I know the breath's important, but why do they keep talking about it? Focus on your breath. Now listen to your own breathing. Then I realized when I do that, all the noise disappears. So I'm a person who, when I catch a wave, I actually do a big loud exhale, because it gets rid of all the crazy people in my head, and I just go, all right, you've done all the hard work, you're in a good position. Breathe out as you're paddling into the wave. As you stand up, you will automatically breathe in, and you're ready to move well, because we move well according to our breath patterns, right? So yeah, definitely the breath across. I mean, we owe a big debt of gratitude to things like yoga and the other Eastern philosophies for helping us to understand that. And then physical, like sports. If you are a professional runner, your coach is going to tell you a lot about breathing well while you run, because you want to win, right? If you're in competition. So any other sports as well, boxing in particular, the way the breath dictates how well we move and dodge punches and things like that. Yeah.
There are a lot of benefits on breathing well, especially, like, one of it is paying attention, right? So as you said, absolutely right, like when we focus on our own breath, and it's always with us, right? We always breathe. So when we focus on our breath, we just, boom, immediately drawn into this moment now. Okay, I'm here. All
Yeah.
this chat and
Beautifully
all
said.
those chats in the head, they just stop.
Yeah.
And even if it's for a moment, that's already big relief.
Yeah.
That's already like releases that tension, and this may be way out. Also, why breath is important of oxygen, like
Yes.
all other sports, boxing and running. The more oxygen we have in our blood, the more clear our mind works, the more data we can get from the situation we're in or from
Yeah.
environment we're in. So breath, absolutely. Or sometimes you can also imagine it in your own mind, and I'm sure everyone have seen it at least once. Like people would tap their body or do something like clapping, so noise, or just touching the body, just bringing attention back to the body, back
Presence.
to, whoa, present moment, here
Yeah.
I am, and then it will absolutely help to get out of those, like, oh my God, like what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, and coming back to that tension part of it, when we're tense, and I said we're very visual creatures, the more tense we become, the less we see, especially if we're tense relative to a particular thing. So that level of tension will become so great that the only thing that you can focus on is the thing causing the tension. You lose your peripheral vision and you're unable to make any adjustments that might fix the situation. I'd love for you to talk about the breathing side of Qigong, because I've never done Qigong, but I have observed you doing a class like in Penang Island, and I'm fascinated by how slow the movements are and how the breath is relative to Qigong. So tell me something.
Oh, we call breath as a strategy in Qigong, and as it is in Tai Chi. By regulating breath consciously or paying attention on the breath actually helps us to, I said paying attention means know where the energy moves, right? Which part of the body, which is it going in, is it going out? Also helps again, and again, repeating ourselves helps to be present from moment to moment. At some point, when we already know how to be present just by our mind, and we train that condition, we train that quality in our mind, we can let go of the breath and just being present. But on the way, while we're still learning, breath is a tool, is a method, or as I said, is a strategy which helps to bring, which helps to keep attention in the body, and energy follows mind, energy follows attention, intention, yi, right? So where the mind goes, energy follow.
Yeah,
If
nice.
my mind is at this moment right now, so all my energy, all my capacity, and all my potential is right here, right? And it helps me to read what's going on. It helps me to get data out of the situation. It also helps me to perform. We need energy to perform,
That's
right?
the word.
Yeah.
Perform is so important. And I give you so here's a little thing that we'll finish up with that you can practice in the ocean. When you are paddling, ask yourself, am I a person who paddles out after a wave and I have this good posture, nice open, I'm gliding through the water? Is that the way you paddle when you go to catch a wave? Or does everything change because you become a little bit tense? And I guarantee you a lot of people paddle very differently on their way out than they do trying to catch a wave. Now, if you can just focus on keeping that good posture and breathing and looking where you want to go, on your last couple of paddle strokes, make sure it's an outward breath. Then when you stand up, you breathe in. It was automatic. You don't even have to think about it. Your body's smart enough to do it, and you will be ready to perform. Now, if you're a person who turns for a wave, lays flat, becomes frantic, you'll even see this in other people, they'll actually hold their breath because there's so much tension that they forget to breathe. And if they don't make the drop and go underwater, they're going to be twice as long without air because they haven't done it for a few seconds before they failed.
Right.
So then you'll see when they come up, they're like,
Right.
surprised look, right?
So getting back to that Tai Chi theory, right? If, like, what happens when we hold breath? So energy just stuck, does not move, it doesn't go anywhere. If energy does not move or doesn't go anywhere, there's no movement.
Imagine being a boxer trying to do it with holding your breath. You, like you just said, stuck, locked.
Well, we exert, is that a word? Exert power.
Yeah.
Like even if we close eyes for a second and try to remember a situation, like you need to move a big heavy object, fridge, I don't know,
Yeah.
how would you do it? You never hold your breath. You're like, oh, like with exhalation. You do it with exhalation. So this is exactly what Twiggy does when he's paddling for the wave. When he needs to put all that power out, like that will be out breath. And this is how it goes in Tai Chi. Similar, like out, energy moves, like energy performs, energy out, right? Also, I would like to add here like a little checkpoint. So relaxation, anticipation, we like tension.
Yeah.
We'd expect from ourselves a lot. That usually, like in anything, in any activities in life, and like any life performance, right? Job situation, career, relationship, whatever. We just want to be perfect most of all the time. Someone less, someone more, but that anticipation creates a lot of tension. Like every wave becomes so important.
Pressure to perform.
Pressure to be good at. Pressure to make it. And just like for a second, imagine, like right now, if you're a surfer and you're watching it in this moment, like imagine, remember how you pedal for the wave. Are you having fun? Are you okay? Okay, I make it, or I'm not. I'm surfing already. Like nothing to lose. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be even good. You're just surfing, right? So that fun moment, or that fun part of paddling for the wave and letting yourself to actually fail. Yeah, just letting yourself to fail, to fall. That's okay, right? It's not like you have to do it all the time, but this is the tool, perhaps, how we can get rid of that excessive tension, right? So just, that's fun, okay.
Be okay with it.
I'm gonna have fun.
Yeah.
This is what I'm paddling for. It's not the last wave in my life.
And don't succumb to the pressure of thinking, what's everyone going to think if I fall? Because even that thought is going to create tension, right? Like today we had a surf in some really small waves. There was a bunch of young Chinese surfers and they were surfing really well. They were taking it so seriously. And I was like, man, these kids got a smile. Like it's just, and a couple of them did. And I remember seeing one of them on a wave smiling, and his surfing looked so much more beautiful. He was just flowing with this wave, having fun. And another guy, like, he surfed well, no doubt about it, but he was like so serious. And I was like, man, the other kid looked way better. Yeah.
So you look much more nicer, you look nicer, you look cooler, you perform better when you have fun, especially if we talk about surfing. I mean, all these paddling out sessions, either you just, I guess it's our, like for most of the people, it's a hobby, right? It's not a sport of a big, what is it, achievement.
Yeah.
Yeah, so fun, breath.
So they're all connected, right? Like, here's the thing, if you're breathing well and moving well you're actually going to have more time to remember the things you wish to remember in your surf progression. And if you add to that, and you will have time to think about it, smiling as you paddle into a wave. You cannot smile without relaxing.
Absolutely.
And you watch anyone who smiles as they're paddling into a wave, they're smiling because they know they've done the work, they're in a relaxed manner, and they're about to have fun on that wave. So smile and relax.
Cool. So this is how we, I guess, gradually came from tension at the beginning of the conversation and smiling and relaxation.
Finishing
and
with relaxation,
fun.
of course.
Then it's successful. So thank you very much, Twiggy, for
It's been a pleasure.
For this chat.
More to come.
Thanks for listening and watching us. See you next time.
Ciao.